Looking for a spotlight on local heroes? The Community Spotlight brings you the people making a difference right in your backyard. Join the group chat crew as they highlight amazing nonprofits and the life-changing events they organize. Kick back, relax, and discover how you can be part of something bigger. The Group Chat Podcast, where our community just means more. Presented by Bayou Sports and One More Round Studios.
Welcome to the Group Chat Podcast Community Spotlight. Sitting here with Tommy Badeaux, who is remote and finally got his echo fixed. And also in studio is Jambon, who is representing Bless Your Heart. Again, we're going to come back, try to do once a week with different organizations that have done some really good things within our community, promote them, promote their events, and promote their cause. So, Ross, appreciate you sitting down with us tonight. Tell us a little bit. I know Bless Your Heart and as a whole has done a lot of positives for our community and the surrounding areas. Tell us about your organization before we specifically get into to the event on May 10th.
Yeah, man. So thank y'all for having me. It kind of feels a little different sitting on this side of it. Of the computer.
Yeah, so we could talk about that podcast as well. Right. It's a little bit different for me hosting this as well.
So Bless Your Heart nonprofit was started in 2020 during the COVID situation. And then we kind of got a test for that. There was a lot of money that was raised to try to help the healthcare people during all that debacle. And then we kind of got a test for Hurricane Zeta. Hurricane Zeta it was a quick storm. It impacted the area, but that really gave us a trial run on what supplies were needed to be able to, and how to distribute supplies and those types of things. And then a year later, we got Hurricane Ida, and that was like just chaos. For that situation, we actually had, it was somebody that knew Joe Brady, that knew somebody that got us in contact, and they were able to fly supplies in because the roads were closed. It was this company, it's an organization called Arrow Bridge. So you helped me out a lot in this. Right. They were able to fly supplies in, but they needed to have a place to land to distribute this, to be able to get the supplies in. So luckily, Greater Lafourche Port Commission was able to help us out, allowed the planes to fly. We just set up a trailer. Geed's dad was helping us offload it. I mean, you came with me several times, pick up the trailer, and we were just bringing it to different places to distribute. It was crazy because it was like a plane with 3 packs of toilet paper, and then there would be like a plane with $5,000 of groceries. It was crazy to see, but that helped out tremendously because I think the port ended up estimating there was like 100,000 pounds of supplies that were flown in that event.
I can tell you just from firsthand experience working with Ross and his team for that relief effort, going to that airport and then seeing some of the vehicles that were parked there during the storm just destroyed.
Yeah, plane flipped over.
And then realizing the severity of it, obviously coming in, I was lucky enough to not be there and then not come home for a couple of weeks. And not to get into too much personal stuff, my family and I were very blessed and didn't have much damage. So we were able to go and help out some other folks in need. And just coming down here, I remember I had my 2 kids with me. It was a very quiet ride coming home and going straight to help you guys out and going to that airport, seeing the damage there, and then realizing the severity of the situation because we talked about Geed's dad, Mr. Joey, come and chat with us. And he's like, hey, y'all can't come in this area because they get Joe Biden's flying in tomorrow.
Right,
the president of the United States. No matter what your opinion of him, it's still a huge deal and just the severity of the situation. But you guys really, I feel like that's where you guys came in. Like probably that was the first big deal that you guys hosted, the multiple events. And I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of it. And Ross, before we get too far off, I know you're not alone at all. If you want to give a shout out to everyone involved in the organization.
Yeah. So our director is my sister, Juri Jaro. And then the assistant director is Hillary Crum Danos, who works for my sister. And then myself, Luke Newman, and Chris Brantley also sit on our board. And then luckily enough, last year, we were able to hire on Ashley Otan to be able to help us out. She works for us part-time. She's the only one that's a paid person. The 5 board members are completely volunteer. So among us 6, we're able to knock out the majority. And we all bring something to the table, right? So Jerry's a lawyer, and Hillary does a lot of admin work, and Luke's a CPA, and Chris is like just a smart dude, and always the level of understanding. And
he's got a pretty nice position too.
Yeah. And then I'll just do whatever,
You got a pretty nice position.
Make my little memes and play around.
So shout it out your team. They do a tremendous job. And I'm lucky enough to get to work with you guys on a different level with Danos and the Danos Foundation. I got to work with Ashley and Hillary firsthand a couple of weeks ago. And then you guys always support the Danos Foundation, come and cook and champions. I'm sitting with a Danos Cookoff champion right here. I'm a little jealous right now.
Judge and People's Choice. Just saying.
That's a wrap on there, man. That's hard to do.
No. It was the secret judge and People's Choice.
Oh, I didn't even know we had a secret judge.
Yeah, y'all had a secret judge.
Okay.
We're going to get into that in a little bit.
I like the name for the secret judge here.
It sounds like something a secret judge would say. I didn't know about a secret judge.
Ross, we're great things that you guys do within the community, but I know you guys have some fun as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us about, you mentioned the meme creation. Tell us a little bit about the Facebook page, some of the joy that you bring to a lot of our lives on a daily basis. And then let's talk about the podcast that you guys, I believe, are bringing back as well.
I don't remember what year it was, but we were doing a fundraiser for Miles Terrebonne. And that was kind of like one of the biggest like personal fundraisers we did. Miles had cancer. He was going back and forth to MD Anderson and Miles actually lived next door to me. So we started this fundraiser and we had we did like a fish fry and all, but then we had some raffles. And it kind of like, I mean, y'all were kind of involved with it, like putting the raffle tickets in like stupid pictures and Hulk Hogan holding the raffle ticket and
anything to grab some attention.
Yeah, exactly. Raffle ticket. I think we turned the raffle ticket into a barge going through the Galliana Bridge, just a bunch of stuff like that. And then just to see like the amount of interaction that we got from that, it kind of sparked the idea like, okay, let's just be stupid. And if we don't get anything for it, look, somebody might laugh at it. So, I mean, that kind of took its own legs and started its own thing. But
we even have a committee for that.
Yeah, we have a meme committee that we kind of float some ideas with. But that's when we decided to start doing a podcast. And one of our things was like, man, there's a bunch of people over here that got a story, right? I mean, even when we sit down, we start talking about, different things that, somebody either told us or we experienced and all. And some people got cool stuff that they've done around here that live around here. And if you don't get those stories from them, I mean, you're never going to know about it. So like we started the podcast and it's called the DTB podcast. Luckily enough, we were able to get Brandon Mathern, who's like a professional at, interviewing and that type of stuff. Brandon's been super helpful in getting Bless Your Heart off the ground. If it wouldn't be for Brandon after Hurricane Ida, like we wouldn't be where we're at right now. A lot goes to Brandon Mathern.
Hey, look, shout out Brandon. Brandon's a personal friend of mine. I actually served in his wedding. Is his participation that was before or after he canceled Halloween?
It was after.
Okay, yeah. Just making sure.
I think he's trying to make up for it.
He's trying to put a timeline together.
Right. So when we started the podcast, it was kind of geared towards that, like finding people down here that had interesting stories to tell. And one of the greatest ones that we always bring up is Mr. Roland from Double D, D&D, whatever you want to call it. Mr. Roland actually died like 6 months after we recorded the podcast, but that was like a 3-hour episode that I crunched down into like an hour and 20 minutes, I think it was. This dude took us from the Korean War to starting D&D, which was called R&R. I mean, like, dude just was an awesome interview. And we were able to crunch it down and all. And the coolest part about it is Mr. Roland passes 6 months after that. And it's like now that's set in stone, like I'm going to use the term. It's set. We put it on wax, so like.
But that's cool. That's really cool for his family to be able to have as well.
Documented.
Because I know a lot of folks that have to deal with some unfortunate events with their family members. People say voicemails and different things. And now that family has a 3-hour story by that gentleman.
That's right. So we try to do that. Try to find people that are interesting. Try to find people that are funny. So, they got a lot of people that do cool things around here that we just try to put them on. Last year, we kind of fell into a situation over the summer. We just couldn't, everybody's schedule just wasn't falling right. And we weren't able to really record too many episodes. But I think within the next few weeks, we're going to have the opportunity to just finally start recording some stuff and getting back to it.
Well, look, if you guys need any assistance, I mean, you see what we're working with. We got a hodgepodge set up, but we're getting better and better every day.
The toughest thing is trying to get, like, okay, we all got a job, so it's like after 5, we record in Jeree's office in their like little library or whatever because it got good acoustics. So, I mean, we got to wait till she's done. And when Brandon's available, or sometimes Ray will do the interviewing. And then like the people we're interviewing got stuff to do. So it's hard to try to schedule those types of things, but I think we're going to be able to work it out.
I tell you what, last night I found out quick that I am very second rate as a podcast. Nick Aber, a partner of ours, we went live and we started, and I was like a deer in headlights. And then Casey Gisclair walks in and just turns it on. I'm like, dude, you are so good.
Right,
He's
right.
like, well, I got 15 years experience
Right,
start on you. I was like, oh, I appreciate the shout out, but yeah, it takes a special talent to be able to do that.
And dude, that's like sitting there with Brandon, like he makes it so easy on my part whenever I'm doing the editing, because for the dude he's been doing that forever. I mean, Brandon was calling the games on the sideline, back in the gap, and then was doing
did Nichols,
talking to Bayou, doing Nichols. So I mean, dude, he's super good at it.
What has been your favorite guest? Is that going to be Mr. Rowland from D&D, or you got another favorite guest, favorite story?
So Mr. Rowland from D&D was a legit one. And I think one of the real reasons that it was cool was I ended up having to leave to go to work. So like the whole episode, I just hit record, rolled out. So like whenever it came down to me editing, it was just like this 3-hour segment that I had to go start cutting through. But I got to hear all the background conversation as well. Yeah, I mean, that was perfect.
Sitting in this editor seat, I'm really enjoying cutting and doing all the content creation. It's a lot of stuff you got to cut out.
Yeah.
So tell us how if we want to see the daily memes, and look, when I say daily, Ross produces daily content. Where do we find that? Where do we find the podcast?
Yeah, so the daily memes are on the Facebook page. But
which is where?
At the DTB podcast.
There you go.
So the way we kind of got it set up for Bless Your Heart is we got a Facebook page for the podcast as well as Bless Your Heart. But since Bless Your Heart's a little more professional, we got a LinkedIn for Bless Your Heart. But then since the podcast is a little more fun, we have both of them have an X or a Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But then for the podcast, we also have TikTok and a YouTube. So like any videos that we get, like whenever we have our annual galas and stuff like that, the videos that we get from Dave, we put on YouTube for people.
Yeah, sitting at the gala last year, those videos were awesome.
Dude's a beast, bro.
Look, I got the frissons. I wasn't even gonna say goosebumps. Tell us about that event and how that helps you guys and helps the community.
Yeah, so for the gala, we were looking for something for people to do. But you got to think like this is coming out of COVID, right? And then Ida, so it's like people were held down. You couldn't really have communal events. And after Ida, we raised like $2 million. I mean, astronomical number. Luke, at the beginning of Ida, Luke kind of joked around, was like, man, if we surpass 50,000, there's going to be some extra documentation I have to do whenever we do taxes. And it's like, yeah, Luke, that's never going to happen. And it's like, oh, we passed 50 and then 100 and then 1 million and then like 1.5 million. And it just kept growing. Even now, I think it's BCF gave us like 20,000 just recently to try to help people transition from temporary housing into permanent housing. So like we'll get people that like they got hooked up at Restore and they're trying to get into their house, but they don't have a bed or something like that. That money from Bayou Community Foundation helps us transition over to that.
I think a lot of times we take for granted the situations that we are blessed to be in.
For sure.
And working with the Danos Foundation a little bit, talking to a lot of these organizational leaders and hearing their stories and hearing the people that they help out, it's a very humbling situation. It's like I'm feeling it right now. Just kind of chatting about it.
That's how we got into the gala situation. We were looking for something to have a community event, something fun just to let loose. People like dressing up and having a good time. So we decided to have that gala. I mean, most nonprofits have a gala. When we tried our first year, I think we made right over 100,000. And then the second year was a little more than that. Every year we keep going. This is going to be our fourth one. And that's our biggest fundraiser throughout the year. So far, every year we've had Sugar Shaker, which is the band that plays. The first year we were like, I don't know who to get. Jerry Martin from down the bayou plays in Sugar Shaker. And I saw some videos. I'm like, these dudes look cool. They like do a very good job trying to get the crowd involved. And so we do that. We have a silent auction, live auction. We go through the past year of Bless Your Heart activities. And then we have an opportunity to cut loose.
Yeah, so I got lucky enough to be able to go last time. It was fun. And look, at the end of the day, when you book at a band, you find the band that Jerry Martin's liking,
Yeah.
and you just book that one.
Right,
Jerry's a very talented individual.
And then who would have thought that you can actually have an auction item to put David Hebert off of the stage,
or Brandon Jacobs autographed jersey, and that person wears that for the rest of the night.
Right.
It was a good time. Okay, so let's transition into the big event coming up.
Yep.
Your mama's Dish and Dash.
Right.
Tommy's shaking his head right now.
I'm only shaking my head because this is piggybacking off of Ross's comments last night. Why did y'all have to change the name, if you can elaborate on that situation?
Yeah. So last year we had it was called Running Like a Mother, right? So the thought process behind it was, hey, bro, our moms are constantly running for us here, there. I mean, I see it now with Dakota playing basketball and stuff like that. They're and especially you guys, AAU stuff, you're constantly running and doing things, shopping, going to school, whatever. So that was kind of the thought process. It does kind of insinuate other things.
You should have stuck an around in there, running around like a mother.
Right. Well, when it came down to advertising at the schools for the kids to participate in the 1 mile and stuff like that, the school really didn't care for the terminology. And we had a few people that called and was like, that's kind of not a good name. So
they're working with the public. Everybody has an opinion.
Right. And it is what it is. I mean, one of the biggest parts of the event is for the kids. You can see on the website that there's a lot of things for the kids to do. So we just kind of flexed and came up with a different thing.
So your mama's Dish and Dash 5K and Cookoff. Tell us about that event coming up.
Yep. So last year was our first year we did this. We wanted to do something in the spring, kind of like a fundraiser, but we really wanted to be more like a communal event. Last year we had a lot of things for the kids to do, and we wanted to kind of build on that to change it up a little bit. So we were at Poppy's Palace in Caliano, and this year we moved into the LaRose Civic Center to have it under the pavilion.
That was behind the show, huh?
Correct, yeah.
So tell us some of the things that you guys have planned for May 10th.
Yeah, so for May 10th at the LaRose Civic Center, the main events is a 5K and a 1 mile, and then also a cook-off. So originally it was supposed to be a 5K. Ross ain't running, so I'm like, well, I got to find something I can do so I can eat. So we decided to have a cook-off to go with it. And actually, the idea came last year because we did the Weenie Spaghetti cook-off in Houma, which was awesome. Misty McElroy hit us up. She's like, y'all need to have a rice cook-off down the bar. I mean, we eat everything with rice, right?
Literally everything with rice.
So we had a rice cook-off, and a lot of people came like, why everything's just rice? It's a rice cook-off. So last year, the Greater Lafourche Port Commission won for having alligator sauce piquant. But their presentation was amazing. They used like a chocolate mold and molded the rice into an alligator and like put the sauce piquant on top of it.
They even had the eyes on there.
Put eyes on it. Yeah.
Attention to detail.
Yeah. We had fried eggs and rice, fried jambalaya balls, all kind of crazy stuff. So this year we're going with like whatever's the baddest thing you can cook. We have some people signed up on desserts. We got some people that signed up with like petit pois de roux. I've seen the fried jambalaya balls is coming back. We just want whatever you think you cook the best. That's what we want to have at the event.
So the last couple of weeks, I've gotten the chance to go with you to a couple of cook-offs. Yep. And I'm 41 years old. That may be my next thing. I really enjoy that. It's fun to sit back, just talk to folks. This time of year, the weather's nice.
That's right.
Just sit there. Like just last weekend for the Kobe Semino cook-off, just kind of sat there. You came up with the idea. That was a very low maintenance item, and we just present and roll with it. Yep. So looking at the website right now, you got a huge list of vendors. You want to talk about a few of those? So naturally, we're going to have the 5K and the cook-off. And then at the main portion of the event, we're going to have a foam pit. We saw that at the King Cake Festival. This guy comes in, sprays foam. The kids have a blast. They can play in the foam and stuff. Last year, we actually did it at the end of the run. So when you finished the run, you ran into the foam. We have a petting zoo for Cherami Farms. We have a dunk booth. I really wanted a legitimate dunk booth, but then we have a lawyer that's kind of involved, and we talked about risk and things like that. So we have and dunking kids in a full blown dunk booth. So what we have here is it's a target where you throw balls at a target, and there's a bucket that sits on top of you, and we'll dump
dump water or whatever we decide to put in the bucket.
If you need anybody to volunteer to have people that maybe not care for me as much, yeah. I'll sit there and get dumped on.
So we talked about maybe getting Archie to come sit under the bucket. DOTD, just
that's some good ideas.
Maybe even get the Golden Meadow Bridge. If we can get the whole bridge there under the bucket, that would be cool.
It's in pieces, so you can probably get at least like one piece out there.
If you put Archie in the booth, you have to have Daniel Lorraine throw at him.
Archie's got a few folks that may line up, but we love Archie.
No doubt.
Archie's you in a high-ranking political seat, you're gonna have some folks that just don't care for.
That's right.
Hey, so going back real quick, I know we talked about the dishes, and I did not want to leave this out because we had Ross on last night on our live feed that we were kind of testing out. Tell me about this boulette spaghetti.
Dude, that's something that my mom thought up. She was like, babe, last night I was thinking about them, like, and she said, shrimp boulette spaghetti would be excellent. I was like, yeah, you blowing my mind right now. I completely agree. I don't have time to cook shrimp boulette spaghetti for the cook-off. However, if somebody wants to do it, they can. So what I ended up doing yesterday, we bought a bunch of shrimp, crawfish, whatever. It was Good Friday. So I took all the shrimp, potatoes, and onions, ground it all up. I have it in the fridge right now. So
it's going to be
after boil boulettes.
So we got some good feedback on this question last night. How do you come up with that kind of idea for a dish like that?
I'm obese.
That was the positive feedback.
So you go to a cook-off, they cook the normal things, right? But then it's like the creativeness behind it.
But I feel like that's what wins these things.
Yeah, no doubt. Like the fried jambalaya balls or that.
I guess you got to judge the crowd at some point because I feel like last week all the normal things won, and it wasn't the crowd that was looking for something exotic and adventurous. But a crowd like this, I got a feeling that the most obscure is going to win.
So several years back, when we had the team Lick de Grace, Schaff, Luke, John, we all went cook Casa Lafouche in Thibodeau. We made pulled pork. I had a barbecue pit from work, and Luke's wife Megan drove to Baton Rouge to go pick up donuts with no holes in it, and they cut them in half. So we had Mr. Ronnie's donut. That's when Mr. Ronnie's was still in Baton Rouge. So it was like pulled pork sandwiches out of Mr. Ronnie's donuts, and we won first place.
Yeah, see, that's the type of crowd that's going to get that. Hey, so something real quick, going back to the race, something that just popped in my head that I was reading whenever I was signing up my daughter for the 5K because I'm not running anything.
Exactly.
We are, as a group chat team, we're going to participate in the cook-off. I think we're going to do the turkey roti.
Yeah, that sounds
something a little bit different, something that we're pretty good at. But so not only prizes for first place winners, tell us about the other prizes you guys have for the run.
So for the run, there's a bunch of different categories, right? But it goes by age groups. But then last year, what we decided to do was best dress. And since it was running like a mother, we had people dressed up as like grandmothers and whatnot. So we had that award. And then we also had whoever had the slowest time won an award. So this year, also for the cook-off, we kind of added something piggybacking off of Danos Foundation. We have a secret judge. Or since now we down the by is the en cachette judge. So for the cook-off, we're going to have judge's choice, first place, second place, third place. Then people's choice. Naturally, you got to let everybody vote. And then we're going to have the en cachette judge, which we already got have that lined up. Nobody knows who he is.
That's sneaky, man.
Yeah.
You got it. That's like the old saying. You got to treat the CEO like the janitor. That's that kind of stuff that makes you treat people a little bit differently. Yep. You know, everybody could be that en cachette type of person.
Right. And then so last year we had Cajun Ninja, Hick Shermy, and Misty that were judges. This year we're kind of changing it up since it is a Mother's Day type thing. But we wanted to tap into the major restaurants down the by. Miss Neely from the balcony is going to be a judge. Mommy Jules, Casey's lining me up with Mimos, Lafouche Landing. We tried to get Shermy's, but they can't make it.
That's like the Mount Rushmore of down to buy a restaurant right there.
Right. So what I was calling it was the Power Five.
Right.
But that's what we wanted. Like the places that you're going to go, or if somebody comes visit and you say, bro, you need to go to Sherman's or you need to go to Mommy Jules, that's who we want judging the contest. So that's going to be the people who are going to be the judges this year.
So while the cook-off's going on, while the run's going on, and after that, I know we got some entertainment lined up.
Well, while all that stuff's going on, under the pavilion, we're going to have Cotton Candy by Max's Cotton Candy. They did our Christmas event, and that was a hit. during basketball season too, they were doing cotton candy and like, dude, the line was outrageous.
That cost me a pretty penny because I told my itty bitty team, hey, look, if we play hard, we're going to all get cotton candy. And look, we didn't even go and talk after the game. They went straight running to the cotton candy because they knew they played well.
All right. So they do an awesome job. So we got Max's cotton candy. Last year we had an oyster bar. This year we're getting Bayou Rosa oysters. So Jason's going to be coming back and charbroiling oysters and serving raw oysters. Then we got teas and shakes by Almost Heaven Nutrition, snowballs by Icylicious. And then we're going to have numerous vendors. They're going to have their own booths selling crafts and stuff like that. And then we're going to have a DJ during the event. And then Benjamin Bruce and the Acadians are going to be playing after everybody just gets awards and chills out.
That sounds like an awesome day for our community and the folks involved. So saying that, I know you guys are not running alone, and I know you got some help along the way. Let's talk about your sponsors.
On the website, if you go look all the way at the bottom, we have all the sponsors listed. We have State Bank. They're always helping us with events by doing their thing and collecting the money and handling the administrative stuff, especially for, like the gala.
Good folks, man.
Oh, they awesome.
My father-in-law, he's taking care of business over there. I love that guy.
Peak Performance, they're going to be handling the warm-up this year for the runs. And then whenever people go to pick up their swag bags and stuff is going to be at Peak Performance. They've been a huge help. Lady to Sea Hospital, Lars G Towing, LP Landry Group, Picciola Construction, the Law Office of Henry J. Lafon, Performance Auto and Accessories, United Community Bank, Walmart, Rev, Galliana Fresh Market.
IGA.
Yeah. My mama called it IG. I'm calling it IGA. Jaden and the crew over there help us out with everything. So we try to buy local whenever we do events. So with the money from Danos Foundation that we distributed to the schools, we bought it all from IGA. They give us a good discount because we buy it in bulk. And for this event too, they helping us out a lot. Martin's AC and Electric, Joe Septic Contractors, Strawberry Insurance Agency, Golden Motors, Almost Heaven Nutrition, Melico Sisters, Gray Services, Bloom West Boutique, Mike and Blanche Calais, Mommy Joe's Restaurant, Absolute Fitness, Jeremy's, Parker Marine Services, and the group chat.
So what's awesome about our community is I know we ask our businesses for a lot.
Right.
You know, that's what makes a lot of things work down here. But it's awesome to see some of the same logos always involved. It just gives you a good feeling about our whole community.
You got guys in the community like Mike Colley. Like if you have a need, you can go to Mr. Mike and you present your case and he got you. It's good to know that you have companies and people like that are just willing to step up whenever something's needed.
I really dislike going to ask folks for money, but working with the school system, coaching basketball at Golden Meadow, we needed some new uniforms. And I knew that we needed to go and reach out to the community. And some of these same folks that's in your sponsor list, that's who I reached out to. And every year it's a re-up. Hey, look, it's a simple text. You want to re-up your sign in the gym? Absolutely. We're going to send a check. Like it's that easy.
Right.
And that's another great thing about where we live. And that's why folks don't leave here. And when they do, they come back. And I said that in the last community spotlight we did, but continue to echo that statement.
Or I mean, just think about like, okay, you talking about Biddy, you talking about Golden Meadow basketball. I'm talking about Bless Your Heart. You got other organizations like His Brightest Stars and the Awesome Ones and Kobe Seminole Foundation, like all these different organizations that are all doing fantastic work. You know, don't get me wrong, but like they're also tapping into those same people as well. And it's like you don't want to overload them with asking, you know, presenting them with your needs, but like there's no second guessing it from them. They just ride on top of it.
Yep. Ross, we want to learn more about your Mama's Dish and Dash 5K and Cookoff. Where do we find some information?
So you can go to eventcreate.com/e/YMDD, or you can go to our Facebook page and we got a ton of links. Right now we promoting all the different sponsors, posting up the link so people can access the information so they can sign up. Whether they want to be a Cookoff team, run the 5K, do both, just attend, sign up as a vendor. There's options for all different things to register for.
I did it personally. I registered a runner and a cook team, and it is very, very easy to pay, easy to sign up. So don't let that deter you from doing anything. So if I'm a business person and I'm hearing this podcast right here and I want to donate to Bless Your Heart, how do I go about doing that?
You can donate through our website. If you go to blessyourheartnonprofit.com, there's a donate button. You can go click on that button. It takes you to a PayPal page. You can donate via PayPal. You can donate via Venmo. You can go to the law offices Ray Jaro and write a check. Or it doesn't even have to be money. A lot of organizations just, they'll have like a volunteer day that they want to do for their company. They'll hit us up. Sometimes we have things that pop up. They'll come and just tackle a project that we have going on in the community, and they'll come and back us up on that.
And I know just random things like household items and whatnot. I know from experience because I donated a stove. So if you contact them and let them know, hey, look, I have this household item that's in really good condition. Does somebody need it? They work their network to be able to get that person that item.
Our future plans is to get our building by Taco Bell up and running, to try to use that for storage space. We had some issues trying to get that squared away. We finally got the permitting process done. We had some electrical work done, and it's coming slow but sure that we can start getting that building straight to have a storage area for items like that. But as of now, when people come up like the stove or somebody might have a refrigerator or whatever, we kind of know some people that we have a list of folks that requested information. We can go and connect those dots. That was something too. Like somebody brought up like, well, you already said that y'all made $100,000 at the gala. Like, why don't y'all just go buy a brand new one? But a lot of that money is allocated to different projects. And then it pays for other things that we have to do. What we see a lot of times is that people want to help, but they don't know how to help. Like in your situation, I got a stove, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to put it outside. So what we try to do a lot is try to connect those dots with people, like the people that want to give and the people that have the needs. And if we can connect those dots for that person, then it's a win-win for everybody.
Literally for everybody. At the Cookoff Youth Center, you guys have a food pantry with a couple of fridges, freezers, and some room for some non-perishable items. Tell us, if some folks are in need, how do they go about taking care of that?
We have a community fridge at Cookoff Youth Center. It's free of charge. You can go grab what you need. So the purpose of the community fridge is that as a community, we all support it. So if you have extra leftovers or you have some non-perishables that you know you're not going to eat or whatever, there's a place to go put that. And then there's also a place that people can go and get what they need to be able to survive. A lot of the requests that we get are from people that are like, hey, I'm on a fixed income. I get Social Security, $943 a month. My rent is $800. I'm left with this $143, and I got to buy medicine and food for the rest of the month. The requests that we get are elderly people who's on a fixed income and need to make a decision whether they're going to buy their medicine or buy food. If we can provide a meal for them and just have that opportunity there, then it works out for everybody.
I live about 30 seconds from the Cookoff Youth Center, so I've been to that food pantry to line some things up there. When you're able to give, every little thing helps, no matter what, because like you just said, you may have somebody that has to make that crazy decision on if I'm going to eat or I'm going to have my medicine to be able to live.
And then we do have some people that I went and dropped off some stuff a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lady that was there. She was like, "Babe, I just want to let you know, I came get a few gallons of milk, but I got all these cans of corn that I'm not going to eat." So she was taking the milk and putting corn in. I was like, "Look, you don't have, it's not a give one, take one." Like I said, if you need it, just take it. She said, "Oh no, I want to help out." She was cool about it. But then we do have situations where people abuse it, and that's going to be with anything. It's hard for us to police it. It's impossible for us to police it.
It's hard to judge somebody and know that, and not knowing their situation.
Right.
So even if someone thinks, hey, look, this person went grab this, you don't know what that person's in need of. You don't know their mental state at this moment. They may need that more than what you do. And luckily enough, we live in a great community that thing stays pretty stocked.
Yep. So we got hooked up with Second Harvest Food Bank. Ashley and Luke did a lot of work to try to get that connection going. They came do an inspection at the Cookoff Youth Center, and they approved us to be able to receive services from Second Harvest. The deal that we have with Second Harvest is that Dollar General, the one in LaRose, the one in Cookoff, Berg, right across from Roland's Mini Mart, and the one on Presque Isle, that's our 4 stores. So anything that's coming up for our expiration or something that's not selling, they set aside, and Ashley and my wife Lauren go pick up every week from those 4 stores, and that's what we used to stock the pantry with. So like last week, Ashley had surgery. I went pick up in Berg, and it was like 50 gallons of milk, 26 gallons of milk, and then the rest were half gallons of milk, chocolate, whatever. It's hit and miss. You might get a bunch of cereals one day. You might, but it's something. It's like if somebody's hungry, a box of cereal is going to go a long way.
It really don't matter at that point.
And look, a point that you just made. Whenever I first started bringing stuff, I'm stocking the fridge out the cast of my truck, and I see a dude drive up, and he's like in a newer truck than me. I'm like, well, look at this guy here in a brand new truck, and then it hit me exactly what you said. I'm thinking like, I judged it at first, and then I started thinking like, man, maybe this dude just got laid off. That's his truck, but he's trying to make ends meet this month, so it's tough. But you have to just put those blinders on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's hard to do. And
yeah.
So again, working with the Danos Foundation, and I mentioned Danos, and I always will, because one of the best decisions I've ever made was to go there. So we did a leadership retreat in Baton Rouge, and we ended up at a church in East Baton Rouge, and there was a Joe Burrow grant for food through Second Harvest Food Bank. And we went and make, I think, 600 different bags that they were going to give out throughout that time frame. And the gentleman that was in charge of the whole operation, him and 2 of his assistants talked to us about their mission, about how they deal with things, and who they help. And look, they get robbed. Like folks that are legitimately trying to feed folks, they get robbed, and not for food, like just smash windows, computers, and whatnot. So just to hear some of that was just that'll always stay in my mind. And we got a chance to go tour their facility. So I think once a week, maybe, you get an opportunity, if you fit whatever criteria. You have to live in certain zip codes, and they help people get there. You could literally go shopping.
Yeah.
Like there's just 3-4 rooms that they have. They're filled. They have a freezer. One room's all the frozen foods. One room is all the perishable canned goods. One room's non-perishable. It's a pretty good system. They have a tag team shopper, and they go in there. That may be, I know you guys are growing every day and have a facility, just to maybe put that idea in your head. Right.
Actually, Community Bible Churches,
they have something like that?
They operate like that, yeah.
I didn't know
so
that.
Community Bible Church is hooked up with Second Harvest Food Bank. I want to say a Baptist church in Golden Meadow is also kind of similar. But I know from experience, but with Community Bible is kind of the same way. Like you can go on Wednesdays. They have people there to shop with you. You can get what you need. A while back, I think it was FFA at Salfafouche had raised a bunch of chickens, and they had like 80-something chickens that they raised for this project. And then after that, they didn't have any use for the chickens. So they got with Guidry Farms, and he showed them how you clean a chicken. Killed it, cleaned it, packaged. Yeah, cleaned it, packaged it. And then he called us up. Was like, hey, man, I got 88 chickens, packaged, vacuum sealed, ready to go. Like, can y'all use that, So we had a place that we could have put some of the chickens, but then we tag teamed with Community Bible, was able to bring a bunch of chickens there. And that's what they were saying. Like, it's rare you get meat,
right.
So that kind of gave us the idea, like during deer season, it was like, man, if people donate us a deer, we'll get it clean. JD hooked us up on a good price to be able to get the deer clean. And then we had meat to be able to provide to the community.
Man, that hits on so many different resources, because not only did he donate that, he showed them kids a life lesson in being able to do that.
That's right.
Man, that's like full circle. That's down to buy a full circle kind of stuff.
So obviously you're talking about your 5K, Mama's Dish and Dash, I believe it's called. You guys also throw the gala. I know you guys do a big back to school thing every year, where I think you buy school supplies, gift bags, and stuff like that. As you guys continue to expand and work on this new headquarters and things like that, do you guys have any ambitions or are there any other big type of community events that you guys want to do that maybe you haven't been able to pull off yet?
Not really new events, but expanding the reach. So because we're in La Rose, obviously, and we all live in the South Fouche community, we try to focus a lot on the South Fouche community. But like I was telling you guys last night, like Thibodaux gets a lot of focus, and Down the Bar gets a lot of focus because of Fouchon, all that type of stuff. But like the middle of the parish doesn't really get that much help. So like this last Danos Foundation grant that we got, we split the money up, 20,000 to the South Lafourche community, 20,000 to the Central Lafourche community. What that 20,000 did was provide food to be put in food pantries within the feeder schools of South Lafourche and in the feeder schools of Central Lafourche, including Val. Virtual Academy of Lafourche, the Central Lafourche location, and the South Lafourche location, it might be for all of them, but I know those two specifically, they don't serve lunch. And there's a lot of underprivileged kids that actually do go to those two schools. And I know this because my daughter goes to Val South, daughters, and they don't bring their food. And Miss Reno was the principal, and she was like, Ross, some of the teachers are actually buying food and putting it in our fridge. And so the kids that we know aren't going to bring food, we have something for them. So that's what kind of what kicked it off. We were able to get like $500, and we brought it to Val. And that afternoon, Lauren dropped the check off, and then she had to go to Walmart, do something. And while she was at Walmart, she saw one of the teachers from Val, like, had baskets full of stuff that they immediately went and started stocking the pantry. And that's what sparked that. So to answer your question, it's not so much like new projects, it's to expand into different areas. Terrebonne Parish too, they have a lot of underprivileged areas, and that it would be awesome to touch all those areas. But I guess we got to take it, one bite at a time.
So my second question would be, and so I'm hoping you don't give me the cliche answer that, anything you could do helps. But I guess what my question is, obviously you guys take, Damien just mentioned donating a stove and people donating food. What do you think, in your opinion, is the thing that you guys are lacking most? Is it financial? Is it participation? Is it publicity? Like, what do you think that, bless your heart, lacks the most when in terms of people helping it out? What do you think? What would you like to see more of, if at all possible?
Yeah, so I guess if there was one thing that I could, like a wish list, I guess, if the number one thing on the wish list would probably be a method to help the individual. It's very easy to help a large swath of people, like assisting a school with something. But we get a lot of requests sometimes on like, hey, I got a light bill that's coming up that I'm past due or something like that. Sometimes you have to read between the lines and try to figure out if is the same person asking the same question over and over. If we had a method to be able to see through the smoke screen sometimes, to try to make sure that we're making the biggest impact where we can, that would be the biggest. That I think that's the thing that we struggle. And I think any nonprofit struggles with that, just to make sure that, you're doing something that's on the up and up and not getting hosed.
That's understandable. You want, you're donating all of these time and all these efforts and stuff like that. And you want to make sure that your efforts are not getting abused and you're actually using your time for people who need it.
And look, I got it already. Somebody called me up. They were crying, needed assistance, trying to get back home in another state. They were down here. So we talked about it. It sounds like it's a legit situation. A couple of weeks later, figured out that they got one on us. So.
And look,
it sucks, man.
The name of the organization, bless your heart, sometimes it hits the heartstrings, and that people prey on good folks, but you can't, like we talked about earlier, you got to have those blinders on, and you got to know that you're doing the right thing, no matter how many times you get burned.
That's right.
So Ross, I know we're coming up on an hour, which is awesome. Our last community spotlight was a little bit shorter than that, but I know you wanted to hit on a couple more things about the event, specifically about the run. Let us know.
So the run last year was just called a 5K and fun run, but this year we wanted to highlight someone in the community. And right around this time, Spring Guidry passed away tragically. It was kind of a quick situation and kind of took a lot of people by shock. And Spring is actually related to Hillary through her previous marriage. We decided to call this event Sprint for Spring. If you hear that terminology, it's all the same event. But we wanted to highlight Spring and all the love and support that she and her family all gave to the community. We just wanted to be able to do something to give back. So this year, while she may not be here, we're dedicating this run to Spring. And some of the proceeds that we get off of the event, we're going to be donating it to the Ochsner Neuroscience Institute in Spring's memory. I think it's important to highlight folks that help out a lot in the community. And then when we lose them, it's a gap. we need to carry on those people's legacy.
Yeah, we can't forget about those. We got to keep that spirit alive. That's why I was pretty pumped up to be able to help out last week at the Kobe Seminole.
Man,
great kid. Got a chance to coach him freshman football in 1 year. Great event. I know they do a lot of great things in his memory and keeping his spirit alive.
And the coolest thing about that event is their purpose is to provide scholarships to kids. So you hear a lot of people giving scholarships to kids that are going to college, but not everybody goes to college.
Right.
And their focus is to provide funds or a scholarship to kids that aren't going to college, so they can go buy tools or boots or work clothes or whatever's needed for them to go into their career. So Consuelo, when she was talking at the event, she was saying that one of the kids that had got money from last year had come by and showed him all the tools because he was like an apprentice going to be a machinist, and came show him all the stuff that he purchased with their funds that they provided to him. And she said it was cool to see like that whole thing come full circle, because Kobe wasn't going to college. He was going straight into a profession. So I always thought that was pretty cool. It's a different group of people to touch.
And look, you pouring back into an individual. If you set that person up for success and they're really good at what they do, right, and they're able to give back, they're going to remember that, and they're going to understand that folks were in that same situation as them.
Right.
Definitely appreciate you coming in, especially so late in the evening. But I feel like sometimes we do our best work there. So tell us one more time how to find Bless Your Heart online, and then how to find some information on the Cookoff and 5K coming up.
You can go to our website for our general information. It's blessyourheartnonprofit.com, or you can go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or X at BYH Nonprofit or at Bless Your Heart Nonprofit. And then the podcast information is at the DTB Podcast. You can hear old episodes or upcoming episodes and take part in the daily memes for the run. The 5K and the Cookoff is eventcreate.com/e/YMDD for Ya Mama's Dish and Dash. Or you can just go on our Facebook page. We got links and an event set up in Facebook.
Yeah, I taught myself something from that. I know a lot of folks use QR codes.
Mm-hmm.
If you screenshot the QR code and then go back into your pictures, you hold your finger on the QR code, it automatically brings up that option to go to the website. I did not know that.
I learned that
last week.
Yeah. I always see QR codes on flyers, and it's like, well, so I got my work phone taking a picture up, Yeah,
that's exactly. We do a lot of that in recruiting. I'm like, man, if you don't have your phone on you, but I figured it out now. Now, definitely going to use that skill going forward. We are going to link all of the information that Ross just gave us in the description of this podcast below. So check it out. Again, thank Ross, thank Tommy for sitting in with us tonight. We're missing our head man, Casey Gisclair. I hope I did a decent enough job, but I feel like we went almost an hour. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Again, group chat, podcast, the community spotlight. If you have an organization that you want to jump on with us, we'll gladly sit with you, talk to you, get your message out, and just trying to promote the good things that folks are doing within our community and continue to make it the great place that it is.
Hey, one last thing. If you go in the upcoming weeks or upcoming days, we're going to be posting what the prizes are going to be for the Cookoff, and then what the prizes are going to be for the runs, like the trophies. But for the Cookoff, we have first, second, third, People's Choice, and Don Cachet Judge. We're going to have Magnolite pots that's going to have the event logo etched into it. At the Kobe Seminole Cookoff, it was etched. These are like nice cooking knives.
So,
Yep. So we wanted to give something that you can actually use and not just sit on a shelf, and it's going to be something that's going to be donated to Goodwill or something in the next few years. If you want a new well, it's not called Magnolite. Apparently you can't make Magnolite anymore, but
that's what it is.
That's a Magnolite pot.
That's exactly what it is. And look, that you guys do some awesome stuff. Obviously the mission of what you guys do is awesome, but the events and the creativity behind that is second to none in our area. And that's always keeps them folks coming in and keeps folks wanting to participate. So
we got a good committee.
Absolutely. I agree. I want to thank Ross Jambon again with Bless Your Heart, Tommy Badeaux for sitting in with us. And this is Damien St. Pierre Group Chat Podcast, Community Spotlight.
We appreciate it. Thanks.
When the unexpected happens, who's standing in your corner? Down the bayou, one name stands above the rest. The law office of Tommy Badeaux. Tommy doesn't just represent clients. He fights for neighbors and community members when they need it most. With a commitment to personalized service and professional excellence, we understand what matters to you. Injured in an accident? You deserve representation that treats you like family, not just another case number. Better call Badeaux. Discover more about the law office of Tommy Badeaux at BadeauxLaw.com.